I'm going to tell you how to get complete pollination in your corn. But first, we've got to go over just why corn is an inefficient pollinator in the small garden. Corn has an ancient and almost mystical origin in the Americas. Thousands of years ago, people in this region domesticated a wild grass into a grain now used around the world as a staple food crop. But as they bred it over thousands of years, they also removed its ability to even exist in the wild. And since they grew it mostly as a large-scale grain to support a community for a year, it was bred to grow in large masses and groups and in fields. The problem for the small gardener is the pollen is on the top of tall stalks and the female flowers are on silks more than halfway down the stalk. In a large field, pollen blowing away is fine as it will blow onto dozens of other plants nearby, and any plant drifting pollen away is also going to get pollinated by dozens of nearby plants. But in a small garden, that pollen will mostly drift away, and many of the silks will not be fertilized. And cobs will be left with many unfertilized kernels, making the gardener feel sad. But it's not really your fault. You just need to understand how the plant works. The pollen is just like the sperm headed for the egg. The egg is like these silks. Each connects to an undeveloped kernel inside the cob that is actually a vulva with an egg ready for fertilization. The vulva that develops is the seed we eat, but only if pollination is successful. There's the males way up there, ready to be blown away with each breeze. Here's the females down here, looking up at the lads, but unable to coax them hither. Your job is to be the matchmaker, and the tool to use is not a car and liquor, but a bucket to collect the pollen and take it direct to the ladies. When the tassels are dropping pollen and the silks are developed, go out on a warm, dry day when it's not been so windy it's blowing the pollen away. You bend a stalk over to insert the tassel into a bucket. You shake it around to get the pollen off. This is the pollen from my 4 plants that are tasseling right now. Then you take a brush and transfer the pollen from the bucket directly to the silks. This should be done 2 or 3 times. You only have a few days that the pollen is going to be actively leaving the tassels, so you really do have to keep an eye on things. If you collect in the morning and it's not been windy, you can get some more a few hours later. I prefer to try to do this a few times. It's sometimes challenging getting all the ears each time, so if I miss one time around, I might get it the next time. Well, folks, I hope you have a really successful corn crop this summer.